advice you could probably tell that one person that may be listening, like, you can still get that shit done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's something that you could probably tell them to like keep them motivated and inspired?
I would say, bro, just look for it in other places. Find your passion, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you like, whether it's sports, fashion, cooking, anything. There's gonna be somebody within that really works hard, and just model yourself behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try to be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be them, but just take their work ethic, and that right there could take you to heights you probably never imagined.
I'm on a mission for maze, no matter how long it's gonna take. I could just see it already. Give me that new Benz or the Wraith. Watching my own back where I'm from, it was never safe.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Appreciate y'all for tuning in to yet another episode of BTL Podcast. Right, to everybody that's been tuning in to all of the previous episodes, I appreciate y'all. Continue to subscribe, download, stream on all streaming platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, every streaming platform there is. But today's going to be a super dope episode. Got a very solid friend of mine, Cisco. I appreciate you for taking that long drive,
of course.
From New York City.
Yes,
I know the traffic was pretty intense, so just real quick, go ahead and talk to the people, let them know a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
What's up, guys? My name is Cisco, aka Armani, for my friends back at home. I'm the owner of Stealth, New York. I own a brick and mortar in Bushwick, Brooklyn. I opened it July 6th of last year, and the growth since then has been amazing. It's coming really far. I have a lot of special guests pull up to the store, myself. So that's pretty much what I got going on.
That's dope. No, that's pretty dope. And I was super excited to get you on, just because I feel as though we relate, in many ways in regards to, the business that we got going on, especially with your clothing brand. So we're going to dive a lot into, the store that you have, the storefront, and a lot about your brand. But I definitely want to get the people a chance to know a little bit about, where you come from and, how you, tapped into that side. So talk a little bit about, your upbringing, and when did you tap into, like, this entrepreneurial, mindset? Like, what got you up until that point?
For sure. Well, I take a lot of pride of where I'm from. Like, I'm from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and I feel like Williamsburg...
Brooklyn stand up.
Yeah, yes, sir. I feel like Williamsburg is looked over a lot, you know what I'm saying? But as far as myself, like, I really take pride in it, especially going to DSU.
Right.
I feel like everybody at DSU spoke about where they were from, like, and I never realized that until I got there. Everybody was from, like, DC and Philly, all these places, like, they're really united. So when I got to DSU is where I really started to take pride. Like, I love Brooklyn. I gotta stand up for at least where I'm from. So,
word up.
Yeah.
And we also, so I know he mentioned DSU, so we did go to the same college. We definitely went to Del State. I know I've had, plenty of guests kind of come on us from the same school. So did a lot of that start at Del State? Like, how did you, get there? Like, was that always your first option, or like, was you always interested in, doing business that you got going on right now through Del State? Like, how did you tap into that?
The way I got to DSU was because of my friend D. Scott. Like, I had no intention.
Donnell.
Not Deshaun.
Oh, Deshaun. Okay.
Yeah. So I had no idea. I never been to DSU. I never visited it, anything. He had got accepted, and I was like, you know what, it's my bro. We played football together, and I seen there was Division I AA. I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just apply. So I got into DSU, and you know what's crazy? I fell in the perfect place. Growing up, I was always known as the football player, but I also like to dress. So I was supposed to play football in college. It never worked out, but you know what? It didn't end up too bad.
Yo, that's mad funny because I forgot all about that. So you play football, I play football too.
Yeah.
And this is why I say I feel as though like we relate in many ways because, my story was kind of similar. Going to Del, I didn't plan on going to Del State, but I applied to Del State because I knew people that went there.
Yeah.
So I got there, wanted to try for the football team. That shit didn't work out.
Yeah.
But I'm appreciative that it didn't. So do you feel like, you not necessarily getting to play football kind of helped you become who you are today? Do you feel like that was a blessing?
For sure. It definitely it made me realize, I gotta figure out what I'm doing in my life. Because growing up, everybody wants to go to the NFL. But it probably most likely 99% of the chance wouldn't have not being at DSU. I would have been drafted. So I got a head start on let me figure this out. And then it really clicked to me my junior year to where I realized that fashion was a direction I wanted to go.
Nah, I love that. So you went to Del State. What did you major in when you was?
I was a mass communications major.
Mass communications.
Yeah.
So that's the crazy thing. Like, we didn't even have you didn't go to school for fashion or textile apparel, none of that. You kind of did. So did you have? What was your previous before you got into Stealth and business and all that and clothing and fashion? Did you have any other passion, or like what did you necessarily?
Literally, I swear.
Did
bro.
you choose mass comm just because, like, with some?
Because of sports. Like, I just love sports. Like, I love talking about sports, watching sports, playing sports. So I was like, you know, if I don't make it to the NFL, like, still
I gotta be around it.
I want to be around it. I want to talk about it. I wanted to have a podcast on it and talk about sports betting, stuff like that. So everything was literally, my life was circled around sports.
No, I love that. So do you feel like that whole process, like, what do you feel like that taught you? You know, what do you feel like it taught you? You know, that whole process of, okay, going to school, going there for one thing specifically, not necessarily getting what you wanted, but having to transition into something completely different in terms of fashion. Like, what do you feel like it taught you the most? Because I know for me, like, when I was going through that transitional period of not being able to play football and having to figure it out, like the same shit that, you know, you was on, it was kind of like, damn, I don't necessarily know what the hell I want to do. So it kind of taught me to, like, really not have a backup plan, because I always feel like your plan A should be a plan A. But it was really more so like, you know, you really can't rely on, you know, anybody else. You got to figure your shit out. You know what I mean? So what do you feel like for you that whole process taught you?
I would say, like, it's crazy. Like,
that's a lot, bro. I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot, because that shit was OD.
Yeah. So I would say, like, it just, I felt like I lost my identity. I didn't know who I was when I finally decided, like, yo, all right, it's not gonna happen. Because I was in denial. Like, I figured, I don't care. I'll try out after college. I'll try out for football.
It's that Brooklyn shit, I'm telling you.
You know, like, I did not want to give up on it. But I kind of, like, my junior year, like I told you, is where I really, like, started to realize, like, yo, it's not realistic. Where am I gonna go? And I remember I was just so, it was one night in my dorm room, I was just so, like, stressed out. I'm like, I didn't even want to do school anymore. So I Googled, like, top jobs to make six figures without a degree.
We all did that.
Yeah, so I came across this one video on YouTube. This guy was doing silk screening in his basement, and he was making a killing. So that's when I was like, you know what? Let me try that. So I hit my dad up like 3 a.m, like, yo, dad, I want to buy this machine. It's like $30,000. He's like, bro, come to me when you're serious. Like, how you expect to do that? So the next 4 months, I just closed everything out. I wasn't going out. I saved $4,000. I came to him like, yo, dad, I saved 4 bands. I got 4 bands. That was the hardest thing I ever did, especially in college. Like, I pulled that off, and then he was like, you know what? Are you serious? He bought me the machine, bro. He let me keep my money and bought me the machine. And from there is where I started to make clothes for other brands and schools. And I always been like, it was football and dressing. Like, I just love to dress.
Be fly,
So I was like, you know what? What if I just came out with my own brand? And that was like going into senior year, and that's when Stealth was
That's
born.
fire, bro, because I wasn't even thinking about, like, I forgot you actually did the printing and stuff like that. And I think that's just a message in itself in regards to, you know, investing in yourself. You know, I know a lot of people who always want to do certain things, but they don't really take the time to, you know, sacrifice some stuff. And that's kind of another thing, like having to actually sacrifice going out, having to sacrifice, you know, spending money on shit that don't matter. You know what I mean? So what was the biggest thing you feel like you had to give away for you? Because I know you like dressing, I know you like getting fly, I know you was very outgoing. Yeah. So what do you feel like you had to put to the back burner the most?
Yeah, you know literally everything, bro. And that's where my motto comes from, stay low with a purpose. Like, I just stood low. Like, I remember I just, like, disappeared from campus for a little while. Like, I wasn't going to the parties, I wasn't buying bottles, I wasn't, you know, doing all the college stuff. You know, I wasn't worried. I used to pick my clothes out every night before school the next day. Still in college, like, that's I wanted to buy new stuff. Like, I had to cut all of that out, but I stood low with a purpose. With the purpose of a further goal.
I love that, and it's crazy how you mentioned the whole you know, making clothes for people, because I remember one time specifically when I actually got something from you. And stuff, you probably don't remember, but I got like this black, it was like when he was first starring, like it was a long black shirt, it was homecoming week. I'm like, oh, my son Cisco got some. I'm like, yeah, so I came, I don't remember if I came in the room or not, but I saw, I came in the room and I saw like the pressing and shit. I'm like, yo, this is actually fire. This is super tough. So like, do you have a passion to still make people stuff, or are you more so now, like where you are with stuff, are you really more so just kind of making your stuff and just really selling?
No, I still do it, and it's crazy because I've grown now, so I have like a bigger machine, I have more machines, and it's basically what generates like my flow of income now. That's like my backbone. So I never let it go. You know, as far as Stealth, I still make my own clothes. Any piece of Stealth out there was made with my own 2 hands, bro. I take pride in that.
And that's why you definitely work hard as hell. And how important is it for you to like really have a team. You know what I mean? Because I know, starting and just kind of seeing you grow with it, bro. Because again, I remember everything vividly. Like when you was first starting on campus, everybody wearing it, and I'm almost positive, like you said, it was just you. You know what I mean? You took the time out to actually put the labor in and get busy. What was it? What is it like now to go from just kind of being you to having like a team of people that you can actually trust? You know what I'm saying? That's actually putting in the same amount of time as you are, because a lot of the times people start businesses and they want the team, but they don't understand that they got to put in the work first. You know what I mean? What you did, you know what I mean? You took the time to actually invest in your craft. So how does it feel to actually not just have just you, but actually have people that's like, they in it 1,000%? You know what I'm saying?
I'm a really stubborn person. Like, I like to take on everything. Like, everything as far as my business, I like to be ahead of it. But I realized as I was growing, like, it wasn't realistic. I needed to start to give people positions, and it takes some weight off my shoulders because it was becoming a burden. Like, it was really hard to keep going. And I'm just glad I have like such family that supports me, you know what I'm saying? Like, from my dad, like, he would, anything I asked of him, he would do for me. And then my brother, my cousins, and my girlfriend, like, they all took control of whatever I needed them to do. And it's like a family thing, really. I keep a really tight circle, bro.
That's crazy. And you mentioned like the family aspect of it, right? I know, especially when it comes to like teamwork again and stuff like that, people oftentimes, they look to keep people that's within the circle, around them. So do you feel like, it's important to have family, or do you feel like people could still be massively successful just from your experiences, right? Or just from just general stuff? Do you feel like you should always aim to get close family and friends involved with business, or do you feel like you just gotta really find, just whoever fits, the role?
I feel like whatever works for you. What worked for me though is definitely my family. Like, it's hard for me to trust too many people as far as like what I got going on, but my family is just there. Like, I can never complain about support. That's a lot, and a lot of people can't say that. There's a lot of people who be like, yo, nobody helped me on the way up. I can never say that. Like, my family, it don't matter what I was doing, bro. They will always have my back, and if I needed help, they're right there to help me. So I give a lot of credit to them for everything.
No, word. And I think just for anybody that's listening, you got to understand that that's a very valuable, piece of information, just kind of having people that really support you, because that gives you a boost. And I know that kind of makes you feel good knowing that you got people that actually trust and care and support, what you got going on. So kind of diving into like my next thing, with the whole, stealth, business, and just how your brand is evolving so fast. Like, talk to me a little bit now about like the process of getting your storefront, in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? Like, walk me through that process. You know what I mean? Of course, you started in college and all of these things, but like, what was the thought process? Like, what was the goal? What was the vision? Like, how did that actually, play out? Because there's so many people, even me, I have a clothing brand, and, we're still working on certain things to actually, get to that point. You know what I mean? To have a storefront and many things. So, like, what was that process like of just like, damn, I'm about to get my first store?
I swear, bro, it was from one day to another. It's crazy. Like, it was literally, I believe, April. My dad just came to me like, yo, my guy owns a store. He's actually about to sell it. I told him you have clothes. You trying to do it? And I'm like, fuck. I didn't know what. I was like, yo, let's do it. I was like, let's get it. And going back to the family thing, I keep making emphasis of it. My father built that store with his own 2 hands, bro.
That's crazy.
With his own 2 hands, and we did that in 1 month. And prior to that, I had no intentions on ever like having a store that year or anything. It just kind of happened overnight, and I ran with it.
Damn. So you opened this, because I know you took 1 month to open.
Yeah.
So what are the details behind actually getting, a storefront? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are some, you don't got to get too in detail, but things that you could talk about, like, what are the logistics behind it? Like, I know you got to put down money and renting it out. Like, what's some of the things you could tell us about, like, actually running and
as far as like with the landlord, she's very lenient, so I put it under my LLC.
Gotcha.
So it's under my LLC. I didn't have to do a background check, credit check.
Gotcha.
Luckily,
okay.
That worked out for me. That was just like, it landed in my hands. So it was just under my LLC. After that, pretty much I just had to put 3 months down ahead of rent, and also like a security deposit, and from there it was just like, you got the keys.
So did you feel like, when did you start your LLC? So did you have your LLC, like, was it recent, or you started with the LLC like in college? Like, did you get that first?
To be honest, I was rocking out without an LLC for like a long time. I got it January of, I believe that was last year, so 21.
That's it. So at what point did you realize that it's important for me to actually get this fucking LLC?
When after I did the collaboration with Jay Critch, that was that was big for me. Like my e-commerce really blew up. Like after that, I started to sell a lot online, and you know, just people asking me like, yo bro, is your thing copywritten, like da da da. I'm like, no, like I didn't know what I was doing, bro. I was just making the money, and I was like, you know what, I gotta start protecting myself. So I got the LLC, I got copywritten and everything. I did the whole thing, yeah. So like when you was going through that whole thing, because I know like for me specifically, like even when it comes to businesses, you know, clothing brand, podcasting, whatever the case may be, I didn't, just business in general, I didn't necessarily have the education, I shall say, to really understand how that goes, you know what I mean? To actually have like, you know, your business in check, paperwork, LCs, trademarking, all that good stuff. So for you, like, did you have anybody to kind of keep you in check with that? Like, or was you kind of just learning on the fly and you just kind of got it together just based on, you know, your own knowledge and experience? I would say I just learned on the fly. Like, honestly, I didn't really, like my father used to always tell me about it, but I was stubborn in that sense where I was like, yeah, but I just, after a while, I'm like, yo, I gotta start doing it. I would educate myself however I could on it and ask my mentors, and from there. And
talk about that. Okay, you talk about mentors. So talk about like, you know, the whole process of learning in this type of industry, fashion, because obviously you into the fashion game. So like, what was that like learning? You know what I mean? Because for me, it's a continuous thing. You're always gonna learn about business and LLCs and credit and all that good stuff. But like for you, what was it like in terms of actually understanding it, if that makes sense? You know what I mean? Because of course you had your dad telling you, okay, cool, well look, now I think because you actually blowing up right now, bro, I think it's time for you to actually get your shit together, you know what I mean? LLCs and all that, like legally. So what was that learning curve like for you, if that makes sense? Like, was it complicated? Was it like fun for you? Like, how was that whole process?
To me, it was extremely complicated. It wasn't fun at all. I don't know why, I hate that stuff. So one of my dad's good friends, his name is Jonathan, he set me up with an accountant.
Shout out Jonathan, man.
Yes, sir. Jonathan.
Everybody, look, get a Jonathan in your life.
I needed Jonathan came through for me like heavy, and he's actually had a business for like over 30 years.
Dope.
Like,
what kind of business you do?
He's in men's fashion as well.
Okay, dope.
He sells Italian wear, and they got like 5 stores, one on like 6th Avenue. So he's very successful. So he set me up with his people, and they kind of like just took control, and I just kind of fell in place to like whatever they asked me.
You just kind of get it going.
I still don't know everything.
And do you have like people in your group that kind of help you with that aspect, like kind of just tell you certain things, or do you kind of just like do?
Nah, I just deal with them directly.
Like the paperwork and everything, and that's dope. So do you feel like so what's next in terms of, you know, expanding? You know what I mean? Because I know now, you know, you talk about, I know you have, just based off what I see, you have many people who come and support, you know, your storefront, who rock your brand and all that stuff. So what's next in terms of expansions? And I also noticed that you have a new partnership with Williamsburg. What's the name?
Elite
Williamsburg, right?
Yes,
so how did that, you know, come about? Talk about that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, so...
Shout out to Elite Williamsburg, by the way.
Elite Williamsburg, let's do it July 1st. Right. Basically, after the store really turned the corner for me in January, my girl and I were like brainstorming on how to like keep the momentum going, because you know, you don't want it to die out.
Right, of course.
I want to keep the brand awareness out there. So we were thinking, who could we possibly collaborate with and continue to grow with? And Elite Williamsburg was like the first thing that came to our mind, because one of the owners, his name is Buck, he grew up in my area as well, Williamsburg. So just taking pride in that, like I told you, I'm like, you know what? I think that'll be a great opportunity for us to combine our strengths and continue to grow. So I came to them with a proposal of like an idea that I had, and they were like all for it. So I think it's really good for where I'm from, because it shows like 2 people that grew up in that neighborhood came together and we doing something great.
I love that.
So that's how that happened.
Teamwork, bro. I think that's the biggest thing, just putting each other on. And you know, you partnering with that, you know, with the Elite Williamsburg, I think that's super beneficial for just, you know, the city. You know what I mean? Because you got 2 people, like you said, that's from, you know, the same area, you know, kind of showing that, you know, it's very imperative that you work with people that's from the same, you know, neighborhood, area. You know, don't matter how successful one person is or the other person is, just kind of get things done. So like when it comes to that partnership, what exactly, you don't got to say too much, but what can the people expect with that though? Is it going to be like a long-term partnership? Is it like a, you know, just like for a certain time frame? Like, is it like, I saw you had like a picture with like a little drink.
Yeah.
So like, is it like you have your own drink? Like what type of vibe is it?
That's exactly what it is. So it's gonna run throughout the whole summer. It's basically, we'll be selling stealth jet juice. That's the name of the drink.
Fire.
So they'll have that at the restaurant, and when you order it, you also get 10% off at the store.
Fire.
So you can bring your receipt in, like, yo, I copped the stealth jet juice, and then, you know, you get 10% off. If you take a picture of it, tag us, comes 15%. And then at my store, I have their merch, I have their advertisements running.
So it was kind of like a teamwork type of thing.
Exactly.
I got you. So, okay, so you got the drink. I gotta try one of those drinks, by the way. I can't wait to try it. Because if y'all look, y'all gon' I'm gonna show y'all the drink. I'm gonna throw it on here somewhere, and they gonna see it because that drink was fire. Like, I like how they had the whole stealth joint. It was pretty dope. So now after that, you know, you obviously have the partnership with them now. Let's tap into like the clothing with the people that's actually been supporting, because I've also been noticing that now you're starting to get, you know, some big names coming to like, you know, your store, you know, really rep your stuff. How has that been going for you, bro? You know what I mean? Just kind of looking at you just from the beginning, just opening the store, bro. It's just like crazy to see how it's actually coming to fruition for you. So what is that? How is that? Like, are they just finding you? Are you reaching out? You know, are they just, you know, in the area? Like, how are you actually getting the people coming?
With that, as far as what's this guy's name? Damn, I forgot his name. Well, the last artist that came to my store, he actually came for this brand called Lost. He's a big fan of them. Stunner for Vegas. Wow, I'm really sorry, I forgot that. Yeah, so he came to cop some of their stuff.
So name some name some of the people that came in, even if they not like who's some of the people you remember?
Okay, so I got like Stunner for Vegas, Shaquan Roberts, Riss and Quan. They got like 2 million YouTube subscribers.
I think is that the people? I think I just saw you post.
They were just
the YouTubers, right? Was that the guy and the girl? Oh, okay,
yeah, they're really big. Edgar Berlanga.
Fire.
I say those three. Just say a few off the top.
Pretty dope. And talk real quick. I know your store, before we get more into the celebrities and how you actually got to that point, talk real quick about the storefront. You know what I mean? Because of course you have your clothing. You see his shirt on Stealth New York. That's the name of the brand. Shout out to Stealth. But the store specifically, I know you have other brands and stuff like that. So how does that go? Like, do you kind of talk contracts with them? Like, how do you kind of do?
So basically, when I started, it was just me. It was Stealth, and then I had like a bunch of small businesses alongside me, like different Culture. He also went to DSU with me. SPK, my younger brother's brand, Vital. And that's how we started. But, you know, I wanted to continue to build the store up, because it's hard to run a store with only small businesses. And then the same guy, Jonathan, he started to teach me how to secure like wholesale accounts with these brands. So he would reach out to the brands for me and tell them about the store. And now I have a bunch. I have a Vertebrae at my store. I have Barriers. I have Lost. I have Off-White. I have a whole bunch of different stuff. Yeah, and it's good, but I feel like all of those brands I used as just, I want them to come in the store. That's what gets them in. And after that, I really promote my black-owned businesses. I was just about to you know, that's like the backbone to my store, because at the end of the day, that's what I started with, and I'm gonna always push that. That's
crazy, because I was just about to talk about that. Like, I know you obviously have, like, you just want to get the people to come in and see. But I was just about to talk about, like, do you really more so focus on, you know, really advertising and promoting, you know, the black-owned businesses? Yeah. And, you know, you kind of talking about that. Are you at a point where you're open to expanding, you know, just for people that may be looking for, you know, a place to, like, if you're from New York or whatever the case may be, that may be listening, you know, you might have some aspiring entrepreneurs or fashion designers that might be listening, you know what I mean? So are you open to partnerships with people? Like, how would that go? Like, how could they kind of stay in touch with you and be like, oh, okay, you could kind of come in the store, we could talk business.
That's what I love to do. Like, I have people come in the store all the time and just ask me questions, like just pick my brain on things, and I genuinely enjoy it, because I know what it feels like to be kind of lost and not understand where to go. And then even still, I don't know everything, but whatever I have learned, I try to give to people and I try to help them. Like, I'm collaborating with this young paintball team. He actually goes to the school. He goes to a school like 2 blocks away.
From
my store. And he came in and he expressed his interest in the brand. And I'm like, you know what? He needed uniforms. We're like, let's make the uniforms. Let's make them Stealth. So starting August, I'll be doing that. Like, you know, that's just stuff that drives me.
So walk me through the day-to-day now. Like, it sounds like, you know, it's just a lot that goes on, you know, especially being a store owner. Not a store owner, but like having your own store, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds like it's a lot that goes on throughout the day-to-day. So walk me through a typical day of Armani, you know what I mean? Like, really walk me through, like, what's some of the things that you really experience.
So I'll wake up, wake up around 8:30, 9 a.m. That, you know, do my regular morning routine, and then I'll head to the city. I always pick up like blank T-shirts, vinyl, stuff that like essential stuff for.
And did you get that stuff? And did you get that stuff for you to print and do work on?
Yeah, because I do my own stuff as well as other brands, and I like to just keep stuff because if you come in my store, you can also make custom tees or whatever you need. Yeah. So I'll just go grab whatever I need, get to the store around 11:30, open up. I'll run through the inventory. I'll make sure everything's set up. I got all the right prices because sometimes people switch the tags, stuff like that.
Finesse.
Just make sure everything's tidy for the day, and then open up at 12, turn the lights on, and just get it going. From there, it's like my day could go anywhere. My day is always different. It's never the same. It just starts the same.
I got you. Now that's solid. And, you know, kind of with that, you know, whole process, do you ever get to a point where it's like, damn, like this is, like at what point did this hit for you that it's like, damn, this is really, like this is it. Like this is, you know, I have to be the one to, like, it's happening. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like at what point did you get that wake up call? Like,
it didn't hit me for a while, bro. Like honestly, I was just going with it. I was just going with it for like 3 months because I was so like, I was on a high of like, yo, I gotta make it happen, you know. Especially the first few months of the store, like those are crucial months because you want to get it off to a good start. And I just feel like Christmas was when it really hit me. Like
of this past year, last year
of the past Christmas that just came. Like the 23rd, I believe. I'm not sure which day it was. It was like right before I closed up before Christmas and everything. It just hit me like, damn, like I'm really doing this, you know, like. And I kind of broke down a little bit because I put so much hard work into it, bro. That it's like,
I believe it.
It takes a toll on you, bro. It's not easy at all. And like I said, I went into it like blindly. So I've taken a lot of lumps along the way, bro.
I believe it. And I could definitely understand, you know, just for entrepreneurs out there, you got just kind of hearing your story, you guys got to start to understand and remember, like, it's not going to be easy. And I think you kind of said so many things so far up until this point, you know, the conversation, that's kind of reminding, you know, everybody that, look, as long as you invest in your craft, put the work in, you're going to be solid. So for you, though, kind of talking about having that moment of relief and just kind of absorbing it in and breaking down, talk about, you know, what's the hardest thing, if you could kind of talk about that, you know, even just entrepreneurship, not even just what you do in fashion, but what's like the hardest things for you specifically, or, you know, that's kind of like, that always has you in like a chokehold, if that makes, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's some things that you kind of struggle with on a day-to-day?
Definitely time management, because I sometimes I overwork myself, bro, and I don't really give myself time to just enjoy the fruits of probably my labor, or just give my family time, you know, like I'm constantly, like I have no days off. Like,
bro, that's so much.
Today's technically my day off and I'm here, you know, like I really
and I appreciate you, bro.
No, of course, I wanted to be here, like that's just part of me, you know, so I try not to like put myself into overdrive, but I can't help it, you know.
And do you feel like that just comes from like, because I know like when you create something, it's like you just have to be like, it's hard for you to take that time away, like to really just kind of chill and relax. Because even now, like I get that too sometimes, like because once you focus on something, it's just so hard for you to really like kind of separate yourself and sometimes just give yourself some leeway. So do you feel like that just comes from you being the creator and you like stamping your name on this, like this is my shit? So like, I'm here every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that where that comes from? Just like that bite, you know what I mean?
That's part of it for sure, because I feel like at the end of the day, I'm the face behind my brand. I am stealth. And also, not to be on like the sentimental stuff
it's so
back
cool,
to
bro.
back, but my family, bro, like honestly, like I feel like I gotta continue to push, because I can't give up on it, because at the end of the day, they give me their all to help me go further. So I feel like if I ever gave it like a half-ass treatment, that's like disrespectful to them, because they don't have to do any of the things they do for me. So I'ma always like go harder and harder and make sure that I'm doing my best by them.
So do you feel like that sometimes, because I know what that feel like as well, and I know for me personally, I be feeling like sometimes it's like I feel guilty if I don't keep pushing, you know what I mean? So do you feel like sometimes that adds into your, you know, that moment where you just feel very, you know, how can I say, like overworked? You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like sometimes you will feel guilty for not continuously, you know, pushing? Do you feel like you'll ever?
That happens.
Does it make you feel like that a lot?
That happens. Sometimes I work too hard, and then like I catch myself becoming really lazy, to where I'm just like kind of sitting around, knowing I could be doing a little extra, and I'll just sit around, and then I'll catch myself 3-4 days to where it's like, yo, you haven't done anything lately, and then I kind of get back on top of myself and just start it all over.
Do you feel like you owe it to them though, or you feel like it's just because of how much they've helped you You just gotta like.
I know if I was to say I owe it to them, they'll tell me no. Yeah. But it's just part of me. Like I just want to do it, you know, because that's really been instilled by my dad. My dad like works his ass off, bro. Yeah. My whole life I've seen it. So I know I'm young. I could do it. Why not?
And let's talk about dads, because you're talking about your dad a lot, for real. And I mean, I think now I'll be remiss if I don't talk about like the relationship y'all have, you know, even aside from just, you know, the business and all of that. Like, what was the relationship like with your pop? You know, I think I'm just moved to ask you about it because you're talking about him so much, and I know how important it is, especially nowadays with all the shit that's going on in the world, all the BS. Like, how important was it for you, you know, to have that father figure, you know, lead by example and really show you like this is how shit's supposed to get done? Like, how is that relationship between your dad?
My relationship with my dad, bro, like since young we've been like best friends, you know what I'm saying? And he pretty much put like my family on his back. And there's been situations to where he could probably be further in life that he won't, because he'll always want to do more for his family. And I really look up to that. And not only my dad, my mother's like really strong as well. So I get it from like both of them to where I got like mix. Two really strong figures in my life, and it just makes me feel like if I'm doing even 10% less than them, I'm messing up, you know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So they're always doing whatever they can. Like, they're really selfless people, and I figured like I gotta continue that you know, mode.
So like, what would be, and if you could, I might be, you know, but what would be one piece of advice you might could give somebody that, like, let's say, I mean, you can't relate because obviously you have your mom and your dad in the picture, but, you know, just for the person that might be listening, you know, somebody might be on here like, okay, well, I'm one of those individuals who was unfortunate to not have, you know, such a positive, you know, role model or somebody. What's one thing or one piece of advice you could probably tell that one person that may be listening, like, you can still get that shit done? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what's something that you could probably tell them to like keep them motivated and inspired?
I would say, bro, just look for it in other places. Find your passion, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you like, whether it's sports, fashion, cooking, anything. There's going to be somebody within that really works hard, and just model yourself behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like, just try to be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. Don't try to be them, but just take their work ethic, and that right there could take you to heights you probably never imagined.
I agree with that 1,000%. And, you know, even still too, like, because, you know, again, you know, you was talking about your family a lot, and I think it's just very important to just kind of remind the people who might be listening that might not have it. Like, don't think just because, you know, Cisco or myself, we come from a household where we have our mom and dad that, you know, shit was always easy. Of course, you kind of still have those moments of difficulty, but and always remember that, like, you can still, you know, figure it out, just like you said. So definitely be moved to kind of figure things out, and always stay inspired and motivated to make things happen. And the next thing I kind of want to talk about with you specifically is what's next for, you know, Stealth specifically. So I know you have the collaboration, you know, with Elite Williamsburg, but what's the ultimate, you know, vision for Stealth? Like, do you want to just be a fashion mogul? You know, do you just want to have, you know, multiple storefronts? Like, what's the ultimate goal, if you don't mind talking a little bit about that, you know, for your brand?
The ultimate goal would be like multiple storefronts. You know, like, I'll always, no matter how big I ever get, if I'm blessed to, I'll always keep my current location. But
so that's gonna be like the flagship.
Yeah, that's the flagship for sure, there. Forever. So from there, I just would like to have 2, 3, who knows how many, maybe like Stealth FL, Florida, Stealth, just LA, you know, like different cities. If I can have it my way, it'll be like that. And then just getting my brand to where, you know, it's alongside the other brands in my store to where it matches up. Cause, you know, it's still a very new brand. It's hard to sit next to Off-White, but I want my store to uphold its values. So I've really been, like, I took kind of a step back to really look at it from the outside and learn. Now that I see all these expensive clothes in my store, I'm taking little things from them, and I'm starting to learn like threads and how to create
material
pieces,
quality,
so I can really start bringing in more fire. Because I feel like I've always been making what I can, but not what I want. Now when I start making what I want.
So you probably got some crazy shit.
Yeah, I have like,
I already know you probably
amazing ideas. I just gotta bring it to life.
Nah, that's solid. And do you have people help you with your creative work, or you kind of just be you, just, you know?
At first it was just me, but now wearing so many like hats in my business is like, it's almost impossible. So I get like I have like designers now. I have I take advice from like my friends, stuff like that, and you know, I just create stuff that I feel like is gonna move, or things that I will wear. That's what I like to do, and that's how it's been doing it now.
No, that's fire, and I wanna I think that's super dope, man, and I kind of want to tap into like a little bit something different, not something different, but still kind of same topic, but so you kind of being, you know, the man behind the brand, and you know, you having so many hats to wear, you know, in your business. Like, I want to talk about just the delegation aspect a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what's the fine line? Because you, like you said, you work with your family and your friends. You know what I mean? So, what's the fine line between them being your business partner and them being your brother, your sister, you know, your mom, your dad, your girlfriend? Like, what's the fine line? You know what I mean? Like, because I know sometimes with business, I know for me personally, I find it very difficult to work with my friends. You know what I mean? I truly do. And I don't know why, but it just never works out the best way. It always ends up being, you know, misunderstandings. They feel obligated to certain stuff. They don't know how to separate it. But for you, you know, you have a business that is, you know, functioning very well. So, you know, what's the fine line? You know, how do you keep that mutual understanding and relationship between your friends, but at the same time understanding that's your business partner? Like, how do you keep that mutual?
It's crazy you mention that, because that's been like something we've always like made sure we took control over. It's just a mutual respect. I see it this way: I'm not gonna overwork my brother and make him do something I wouldn't put an employee to do, and I'm gonna pay him as much as I would pay a regular employee. And then my brother, being my brother, he can't come to the job 2 hours late because I'm his brother. Because if he was working anywhere, Walmart, if you gotta be there at 7 a.m., you gotta be there at 7 a.m. You can't get there at 9. And what are you gonna do wanting to keep that job? You're gonna be there at 7 a.m. So just because I'm your brother don't mean you show up at 2 when I open at 12. And just because you're my brother don't mean I make you do things I wouldn't make the next person do. So just keeping that mutual respect and understanding, like, yo, we're gonna treat each other and respect each other the same way we would treat these huge companies
any other workspace
and any other employee that I would put to work here.
That's solid.
Then that keeps it flowing.
That's solid. So have you ever been in a situation where, you know, have there ever been any difficulty? Like, has there ever been a situation that you don't mind talking about where it's like, damn, like, it's blowing my shit. You know what I mean? Like,
at first it was really me, like, I didn't want to like be the brother that was nagging or the cousin that was nagging. So I remember we had a PlayStation in like the middle room, so it's like the chill room, and I would catch, like, I had my cousin and my brother working at the time. They would just be playing PlayStation, and I wouldn't say nothing, but there'll be a few things you could do, but I just didn't want to like cramp their style. And then I was like, you know what, like, things could be getting done, and I just kind of spoke to them like, yo guys, you know, like, I don't mind y'all doing that, but we gotta focus on work. This is still work. Like, even though it's us, we chilling, still gotta work. And they took it well. They was like, nah, we get it. Like, and I never had to bring it up again. So just having understanding brother, understanding cousin, it works really well too, because they could be like, bro, you're annoying, like, and then that caused friction to where I gotta like, all right, so leave. I never had to go there, but that was probably the one thing, like, me learning how to be a boss and like tell people like, yo, you gotta do this. You know what I'm saying? That was the hardest thing for me, because I'm easy going.
So you feel like your biggest, so as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's like at the head of the table, do you feel like your biggest flaw was the delegation? Like, what was the biggest flaw for you? Was it just like really learning how to keep that that
exactly balance? Like, I'm so used to doing things myself that I have employees set to do certain things and I just do it. But I catch myself like, yo, I could be actually like updating the website or trying to create more content for the Instagram, and I'm actually doing this. Like, I should tell them to do it. So just learning how to, you know, step up and say, yo, you got to do this, you got to do that, and not feel bad for it, because I shouldn't, because that's what they're there for. You know, like. So
do you feel like they ever take it anyway though? So I know for you it's like, all right, it might be me, but do you ever think of it like, damn, I feel like they gonna feel this way?
Yeah, I like, did at first, but then after some time, like, I'm almost a year in, it's like, it's just a mutual understanding, like, yeah, we doing this, and we will always have our talks, and even if there's days where I was a little too hard, I always just pull them to the side and be like, yo, you know, like, it's just part of it. Like, I just get kind of like riled up. I got a lot of things in my chest, and I just gotta like get it done. And they understood. Like, I never have really had like tension. Like, and I'm
no crazy tension.
I'm really happy I could say that, because like I said, not too many people can say that.
Got you. And do you feel like, do you always want to keep this as, I mean, obviously you're gonna grow and it might not always be family, but for the time being, is the goal to keep it, you know, family based? Like, do you want to just get family involved? obviously you're gonna grow into employees, but as of right now, like, do the people that work for you, like your relatives or whoever the case may be, like, is that their job? Like, do they do anything else outside of that? What's their, like, how does that go?
I feel like they kind of took a page out of my book, and like everybody in my family got like their own business.
Oh, okay.
So my brother has his own brand, my cousin has his own brand, my father got his own brand.
And it's not all, is it all clothes or they do different?
They do clothes.
Okay.
Like, you know, so they just do their own style. They got their own mix, and I love that, because one day I want us all to have like thriving brands, and hopefully they have their own stores. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I want them to grow. If my brother's brand blows up tomorrow, I don't expect him to be at the store. I gotta go get an employee. Right. You know.
So you're not the oldest? Are you the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest. Okay.
Yeah, I have a younger brother and a younger sister.
Okay, but how old are they?
She's 7 and my brother's 19. He'd be 20.
Solid. Yeah. So okay, that makes sense. Nah, that's dope, bro. I think just kind of hearing, like, you know, all of that and how you just structure. I think structure is like the most important thing. And the last thing I kind of want to tap into real quick is just like, so what's the structure like of being, because you're actually at the head of the table and it's your business, you know? So like, what's the structure like? Like, how do, you know, when it comes to like business meetings or, you know, family meetings, and obviously when y'all game planning and getting things together, like, how does that typically look, you know, with family? You know, I think that's just so fire how it's like just friends and family and people that you actually care about. So like, what does the actual business look like being ran with your, you know, with your family? Because I know obviously y'all might have mishaps here and there, but you know, when y'all do, like, when it's time to actually get shit done, like, how does that feel? Or like, what's like, how does that structure come about?
I give a lot of that credit to my girlfriend, because she's my publicist.
I mean, she over there.
Yeah, she right there.
Shout out her.
I need her, because I'm so unorganized with things because I do so much.
I feel like girls always have, like, they just have that organization that we just don't have all the time.
She organized me all the way. So it's like I would write in a notebook and I just look at it like, holy shit, I got like 30 things to do, and she'll just grab it and put it on her laptop and be like, okay, so you got to do this and schedule my day out. I'm like, yo, that makes so much sense. It seems so much calmer. And she sets everything together. And then as far as meeting and stuff like that, we just at the store normally, like before we open up, we just talk. We have our little talks, you know, in a circle. And we got a group chat. So we always just keep pushing each other. Whenever somebody's gonna drop something new or got a new idea, we put it in the chat and just we try to keep it just natural, you know. I don't want it to feel too robotic, where it's like, yo, every Tuesday be here at, you just make sure it happens every week. We talk and we just, you know, uplift each other and make sure everything's on track.
That's solid. Now that's what's up, bro. And I mean, I think at this point I gotta ask now, I know you mentioned your girlfriend, you know, kind of help you a lot. And I mean, I know for a fact a lot of people can use that. So how is that, you know, how has that really molded you, you know what I mean, working with your significant other, you know what I mean? Because I know for a lot of people, like I said, for me, it just never worked in my favor. Like, it just always ended up being, like, not the best decision. But for you, you know, I know you mentioned she's your publicist and all of that stuff. So how did that even come about? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure, I don't know if y'all met and, you know, it was already a conversation, or, you know, she kind of saw what you had going on and then she kind of just came and brought something to the table. How did that situation come about, you know, getting your girlfriend involved and her becoming your actual publicist and, you know, things like that? If you don't mind talking about
basically, I've known her for like 8 years. We've been together for 2.5. But she's always had a passion for it. She's always been doing it. And then just seeing her take on roles and positions with celebrities, with athletes, you know, I used to just look from the side like, damn, I need that. Like, she got these dudes getting like magazine covers and interviews, and I would just like play around with her, like, why you don't get me an interview with them? So then she's like, yo, if you want to, like, let's do it. Like, I'll help you, and it just kind of happened. It just fell into place. We just naturally click. It don't seem like a lot. It's just, we just talk, and she just organizes me like crazy, and also lets me know when I'm falling off track. Also lets me know when something might not be it, if I think it's it. And sometimes I still think it's it. You know, I don't care, but at least she's honest. Yeah. So it's just free flowing. Like I said, I never like things to be robotic. I just like things to just work out. I feel like when it becomes robotic, it's probably the day I'll be weird, or it'll be tension.
It'll be a little different. Nah, that's solid, bro. Just kind of hearing that, how y'all have that, you know, have that structure. So I would assume that you would recommend for anybody that's in a relationship doing business, just get your girl involved. I think it'd be the easiest thing.
Definitely.
Because it's like, I think about, you know, you just kind of telling me that. I think about, you know, my experiences. It wasn't bad, but it's like, I just don't have, because the way I am, bro, is like, I'm very like, I'm just aggressive, bro.
Yeah.
Like I'm like a very, very overly aggressive. And it's like if things sometimes don't go the way that I envision it to or I want it to, like I have a very hard time of being observant and listening to other people's opinions because I feel like I know everything. And that's and I don't mind admitting that. Like that's just always been a flaw of mine. Like I'm very strong when it comes to that. So to kind of hear how you and your family and your girl could kind of bring that together, I think that's very solid because it's possible. You know what I mean? And maybe, it's people out there that's listening that's just like me that need to understand that maybe we got to sit back and really self-reflect and really ask, are we the problem? You know what I'm saying? So for real, because I know that I've been the problem in many cases after I obviously sat back and realized it. So to kind of hear that, I think it's solid. And last thing I really want to talk about is, okay, you spoke about, getting in different storefronts. So what do you want like Stealth to be known for though? Like, you know what I mean? Staying, like I love your motto, staying low with a purpose, right? What is that actually, I mean, you kind of spoke about that as well, but like, what do you want the people to know, Cisco and Stealth for and all of that? Like, what lasting image do you want Stealth to leave? I know you're still early in the game. You still got many a years, left to go, but it might be a little too early, but what do you want, at least right now?
I just, authenticity. Like, everything about my brand is like it's not fabricated. From the ground up, I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, but just work hard every day. Legit, since college, just working hard every day, just trying to make it happen however I could, just brainstorming and just authentic. Like nothing is made up, and I want to continue that. And I don't want to sell out either. Like I feel like everybody wants to wear $1,000 jeans and $1,000 everything. you know what I'm saying? I feel like we're kind of losing our identity in New York. Like I miss high school fashion, bro. You used to be able to wear True Religions, $300, Taverniti jeans, 7 jeans, which is still expensive, but everybody had like some sauce to them. Everybody had something. Now, what are kids supposed to wear? You in high school, you 16, you gotta wear $1,000 sneakers. That's crazy. Yeah. So I never want, like somebody asked me the other day, like, yo, you want to be like Gucci one day? I'm like, nah. Like, no. I would like to be like Kith maybe. Kith, you got these expensive pieces, but you can still get a t-shirt for $70. It's expensive, but it's affordable. You don't got to save up for 3 months to get a shirt. So that's what I want people to like continue.
Authentic. I love it.
Just authentic, bro.
I love it, bro. I think that's solid. And what do you, and I keep saying last question, but I just be thinking this stuff, bro. My fault. So so okay, you got Stealth, but now let's tap into Cisco real quick. Armani, you know what I'm saying? Like,
me.
Yeah, let's tap into you real quick. So what do you outside of Stealth, you know what I mean? Like, what are some of your other endeavors, or like, what are some of the other things that you're looking towards working on and that you're really focused on right now, if anything?
That goes into the part where I was telling you that's my problem. I feel like I don't know who I am outside of it right now. Like, I love sports. I could sit down and watch sports all day, but other than that, I'm just like always doing something that has to do with work. And that's something I gotta work on, because it's not good. You shouldn't just be all work all the time. So, like I said, I just got a passion for sports, and I like going to a basketball game or just going to a football game. And I like cars. I like to drive. Stuff. Those are like my little hobbies, stuff like that. But I gotta really start to discover who I am as a person more outside of just what I do.
And I think it's hard, bro, because I even been like that as well. I think it's hard because it's like once you create something and it's still early in the game, it's like you feel like you got to give it to everything. But I do think it's also important that, you being a business owner and being the head of the table, and myself as well, and just anybody listening, like to really sit back and just have that real moment and just thinking like, damn, outside of Stealth, like if I lost Stealth today, God forbid, obviously you won't, if Stealth was gone, you know what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I about to, do? Like, what am I truly passionate about? So you being passionate about sports and cars, are you trying to like, do you see yourself getting involved with those things? Or those are just like some hobbies that you just like to do, on the side? Like, do you have any big, endeavors outside of being a Stealth, outside of...
I always wanted to create a brand for sports teams. So I always wanted to go back to high schools and just not Stealth Athletics. I wanted it to be a brand new name.
There you go.
I wanted to, let's just say whatever, Flower
Armani,
whatever.
Armani song.
But I wanted to go to the high schools and just give it out. Like give some fly accessories for the football players, basketball players, just all the young high school kids, and just put it out there. And then maybe if it sticks, it sticks. But just, give the kids some sauce on the court too, and just make it a whole different thing. But I guess that's still like clothes. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's too different from what I'm doing.
I think it's definitely different. And you even kind of talking about that, do you feel like just kind of hearing like obviously all of your other passions and stuff like that, when you talk about not necessarily knowing, who you are yet outside of, your business, when it comes to, those moments where you just kind of sit back and reflect and you have those moments of hardship or just those moments, the difficult moments, what are some things that you kind of do to help you that are like very therapeutic for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you're having a bad day, just as an entrepreneur and just somebody who's very busy, what are some of those therapeutic activities that can help you kind of like ease your mind? I mean, obviously you said basketball games and things like that, but do you do anything that's more like on a personal note, or is it just really just being outgoing and stuff like that?
I like to write. I don't know what it is. Like, people call me old fashioned for everybody using their notes. Like, I don't know. When I write things down, I remember it more. It releases tension. So I just like, if let's say I got a lot of things on my plate, I just like to write everything down and then look at it. And then it's like, it seems like it's 1,000 things you got to do, but then you look at it, it's like, I gotta do 4 things. You know what I'm saying? That helps me a lot. And then sometimes I just escape and I get on the game. I just play like video games with my cousins and stuff like that. Just feel like regular, no worries, put them headphones on and just zone out. Like, that's something that helps me a lot. So I look for things like that.
Solid,
writing and games.
Solid. And I'm kind of gonna backtrack real quick because I forgot to ask this when you was talking about your relationship with your girl. But so how do you, if you could talk about this a little bit, because you seem like you also have very good, just with your relationship, time management, being so heavily involved in the business. And obviously, her being in business with you, that's time. But like, how do you kind of create that quality time? You know what I'm saying? While being in a relationship and still having, your business to run. Yeah. How do you create that fine line as well? Like, how do you find the time to actually...
She calls me her +1 forever. So she's always getting invited to events, stuff like that. So that's fun. We go to a whole bunch of things. Like, we went to RCA recently, some event they had, and just a whole bunch of launch events, and we do that together. We drink, we have fun there, and even after I close, we just make sure when I get home, we eat together, we speak, and watch a show, stuff like that. Sometimes I try to trickle off and go play the game, but I make sure to make time. You know what I'm saying? Like, always make time for each other, make sure we speak about our day, address each other, and we really good. We work really good when it comes to time management with each other, because we do almost the same thing, so we can connect when we get home and speak about like almost the same thing in different ways, what we got going on.
Solid. Yeah. And do y'all ever have conversations of like what y'all gonna create together? I mean, it may be way too far-fetched, but like, do y'all ever sit there and think about like, damn, I know you got stuff, I know I work with you, I know I got my thing going on, but like, it's time for us to really just do some shit together, bro. Like, how does, you don't gotta tell me what it is, but like, how do those conversations feel? Like,
we think of that all the time. Like, obviously she's very young in her career, and so am I, but we just think about like the big picture. Like, imagine she's to a point where she's a publicist for like the next LeBron James, and now I'm like the new Kif. Wow, and it's like, imagine how that could connect. Now I got her athlete wearing stealth. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So we think about the possibilities. Like, oh my God, imagine how big we could be. You could be the biggest publicist in New York. I could be the latest brand in New York, and just combine it, it'll go crazy. Like, that's hard, that's stuff we think about all the time.
Nah, that's solid, bro. I think that's super dope, man. And I always ask this question. I just love asking. It might make you think a little bit, but
let's do it.
It's like the last question for real. So if you could go back and just think about, your past, let's say 2-3 years. When you graduated, 2018, right?
Yeah.
2018 up until now, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the biggest thing you've learned? You know what I'm saying? Just from, graduating college to transitioning into, entrepreneurship full time. What's the biggest thing that you've learned or that you took away?
I would say stay in the moment. Cause like, even from college, like, me talking about wanting to get out and be done, like, those are things that I think back on, like, damn, you miss that stuff. And even after college, like, I feel like my life hit fast forward. Like, I feel like I graduated like a year ago. It's been 4 years. Right. I've been out of college as long as I was in college. And I'm like, whoa, where the hell is life going? I'm about to be 26. So just stay in the moment and really like embrace what's going on. Even if it's not the best, just look around and be like, yo, like, all right, this is where I'm at. I got this going for myself. Let's keep pushing. So staying in the moment has been like something I preach and that I live by. Like I always want to, like even right now I'm taking this in, like, because it'll be gone in a blink of an eye. Next thing you know, it's like been a month and the podcast been dropped, but like this is special to me, so I always want to stay in the moment.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah.
But look, bro, I mean, you know, you got it here first, man. You know, shout out to you again, bro, for coming all the way out here and chopping it up with me. So if you've enjoyed the episode, definitely make sure you download, subscribe, listen, you know, and share it, man. Make sure you share the message. And real quick, how can the people, you know, stay in touch? So like, let them know your Instagram, you know, all that good stuff.
My Instagram is BKNYS Flyers, Brooklyn, New York's Flyers. My Instagram for my page for the clothing, is stealth.ny, STEALTH, .ny. And those are my 2 socials. You can follow us on Instagram. And let's make this the most viewed, please.
The last one that I had was definitely the most viewed from the first most viewed. So look, let's get it. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all share, download, subscribe. Cisco, again, I appreciate you, my brother.
Of course.
Let's kill it. Peace.
Yeah, get to the cake. I'm on a mission for maze, no matter how long it's gonna take. I could just see it already. Give me that new Benz or the Wraith. Watching my own back where I'm from, it was never safe. Yeah, need 100 M's up in the safe. Last chance, life a movie. Roll another one and get big.